We're live, boys. Here we go. We're off and running.
We're live recording.
We're recording. Sorry, we're recording.
Live.
He just
live
said
recording.
Live. So
No,
how you doing?
Nobody's putting me live.
Listen, I'm gonna use what we were talking about on your Instagram last night, because I was like, I'm gonna skip all the introductions like I've done on all my other shows. I'm just gonna jump straight in. Let's go.
All right.
What do you guys think?
That works for me. What I talked about a lot. We're talking about when I was walking, right?
Right.
I was probably pretty lethargic and out of breath, so I might not remember everything.
Well, first thing I want to talk to you about is, and me being a physical education teacher, are you working to get healthier? What are you doing out with these walks now? Or is it just to get your Instagram healthier?
That's it. It's all actually, when I turn the camera around, I take a bite out of the hamburger I'm carrying with me. So it's not for no, I'm working. It's a little bit. It's definitely not working on my Instagram. It's working on my health. It's mainly trying to lose a little weight and then get my energy level up so I don't get so tired while I'm out of yard sales. Honestly, that's what sparked it. Is like I get tired while out of yard sales. I'm a little bit, I'm almost 50 now and all that stuff. So like, I've always been big. The weight never really slowed me down, but now it's starting to slow me down some, and just need to get my energy. I don't know.
So do you have a plan? Do you have an end goal where you would like to be at a certain point of time, or are you just kind of seeing what happens?
I mean, I can tell you peak COVID, I don't mind sharing out. Peak COVID, I was about 6 pounds shy of 400.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I am now 352. So I've lost some over that couple years slowly. It's really tough for me. I mean, I don't know. It's been a struggle my whole life.
I understand.
So I've lost some. It's just kind of stuck in this area for quite a while now. Anyway, so that's
I was wondering, is there a hidden meaning behind walking through a graveyard?
Not at all. It's just close to my house. It's like right here. I can. And it's actually really pretty in there. So but that's I see the irony now. He might as well. He should just go lay down over there, and he'll be good to go.
Just dig a hole. Start each trip. That's it.
He's out looking for a plot, and that would be a nice place.
Yeah. I've always been one that carried it well, though. Like when most people when they meet me don't guess that I weigh that much.
How tall are you?
Oh, you don't. Yeah, you don't carry it like that. No.
All right. How tall are you?
5'10" and a half.
5'10" and a half. Mike, how tall are you?
He's tall.
6'2".
Yeah, Mike's tall.
I'm 6'6".
Oh wow, you're
tall. That's a different level.
You're Philly flipper.
I'm 6'6"
and skinny at it.
I weigh 200 pounds. 6'6".
Wow, that's wild.
He's just a show off. It don't matter.
Just the slims. That's the slim in it. But yeah, I ref basketball too, high school and college. So
you wouldn't believe I was one heck of a point guard.
I believe
not that guy. I'm not that guy that likes to talk is bragging when he wasn't. I was one heck of a point guard. I was like alley oops all. I was a pass first point guard.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun playing, but I wish I could play basketball again. My knees would say nope.
Did you play football or anything?
Yeah, I could throw a football too, but a little bit. They always wanted me on the line, so that's what I ended up doing. But whatever.
Yeah, it's boring.
What about you, Mike? You get into sports? What'd you play?
Played basketball 1 year, my junior year. Football my freshman and sophomore, dislocated my kneecap.
Ouch.
And rehab, and that was just to make sure I could play baseball. I played baseball 4 years, and then ended my freshman year of college, but never played a game.
Well,
and golf my senior year.
There you go. See, now golf is our sport now. See,
prepping for the old age.
Yeah, right.
It's not my sport.
Just give me another ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Bring extra. Yeah, for sure. Bring extra golf balls.
Yes. If you're going to play golf, you might as well bring you a whole horde of them. And when you run out, it's time to quit. So.
Yeah.
I always thought if I could play at least 9 holes, I'm doing pretty good with all the balls after I run out.
Right. For sure. Good thing about me is I just skip them along the ground, so they never even go high enough to get into the water.
Worm burners, huh?
I might be discrediting myself a little bit, but not much.
What we need to do.
No worse than me. Top golf.
We need to come up with a golf tournament for pickers and flippers.
It's not a bad idea.
As long as Kevin's not in it.
Right.
Kevin can be the cart guy. He just drive around.
That's fine by me, but he hits too straight and too clean. Like I don't like it. For a little dude, I don't know.
Somehow he's cheating. Somehow. I don't know. I don't know how. I haven't figured it out yet. But
him and Uncle Steve, officials. Really? They're going to be our marshals.
Yeah, marshals.
No, let's make them caddies.
Ooh, that would be
That's
great.
Fine by me.
There you go.
A long walk.
We'll centrally locate it. I guess it'd have to be somewhere in Georgia. Maybe that'd be good for you.
I was going to say Augusta. Let's make it happen.
Well, yeah. We might as well.
It's in your budget, right?
No, you're probably closer. So it's going to be Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So Augusta's it. I mean, why not? As soon as their tournament's over in April, we'll just go ahead and go onto the course as soon as they're done. Yeah.
Just ain't none of us here on wealthy as a Kevin tier, so we ain't afforded Augusta.
Kevin's got a shot at getting on.
He does, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got the moolah. I mean, riches beyond all imagination, but us, we're the unfortunate souls.
Well, that takes me into my next thing, talking about the health of your eBay stores, or let's talk about those things. How's your all stores doing right now?
You want to go first, Mike?
Oh man, actually, yes, because I don't want to follow Jimmy. So, store's not bad. I mean, I don't put a lot of effort into it. I really don't. Listing, I'll do maybe 4 out of 7 days a week. I'm trying to get more into at least 5 items a day, and then I started seeing an uptick over the weekend. But then I see those upticks, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm good. I met my monthly quota."
Yeah,
I told you I got to make next to nothing to subsidize my income with retirement, or subsidize my previous income with eBay and retirement pay. And like, I just enjoy life outside of that, like going up Cincinnati. Anyway, side topic. We ain't doing that. But eBay. When I list, it's good, and I got good items. But the problem is, I've got a ton of good items.
I'm coming down there to pick.
Deep in the death pile, dude. Deep. Yeah. So go ahead, Jimmy. You tell them what a real reseller does.
It's a tough question for me because my store's doing great, but my wife just went full time with me about 3.5-4 months ago, so it's not where it needs to be for that. We're currently working to get it to be able to sustain that. It was like a risk type thing. It wasn't a high risk, but we're currently in the process of seeing if it will work. But like, my sales are better than they were when I was doing it by myself. It's just not quite enough to justify both of us. But yeah, I actually just had a really big sale about an hour before we came on here. Someone bought like 15 items all in one buy for over $400. So that was nice.
Nice. Yeah.
That's very nice.
But I actually just went to Virginia. I got to hang out with Kevin, by the way. We're just gonna say Kevin the whole show. And while I was gone and I was on away mode, that was the first time away mode really affected my store a lot. Like, my sales were more than cut in half per day. And then the second I got back and started listing and took it off of away, we had 4 of the best days we've had in a while. So that away mode usually doesn't affect me too bad, but this time it did.
Interesting. Well, I mean, you got to keep that ball rolling, but I mean, at some point you've got to step off like you did, and
right.
You probably got a lot out of that going to see Kevin, I guess, and do those things too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Well, we went there to visit with my wife's family. Her family actually lives half an hour from where Kevin lives, so it worked out perfect. But yeah, we were there. The trip had been planned for a while to go see Sonia's granny, who lives right in that area, and her aunts and uncles and stuff. So,
Gotcha. So I'm curious, what's the thing that got you all in this resale business?
I have a story for sure. I definitely have a story. You want to hear it? No. So I used to be a mechanic. I was a refrigeration mechanic, which sounds weird, but I worked on refrigerated trailers, that the trucks pulled, which, they haul food in. Well, that's a diesel engine. That's a refrigerator powered by a diesel engine. It's got 4 wheels. So it's basically like a truck. It's got the wheels. It's got the diesel engine. It's just the engine's powering a refrigerator, not the powertrain. So I worked on those. And then I had medically had to leave because of hernias. I was getting hernias, like they wouldn't stay gone. They just, part of it was my weight, but doctors finally, like, you can't turn a wrench anymore. Like, you just can't turn a wrench. So I went into customer service, did that I hated it every second. Tried to quit, and when I tried to quit, I was so good at it, even though I hated it. My boss was like, "Well, how about you try, instead of answering," because I was answering phones. How about instead of answering phones, we actually have an eBay store.
Oh.
You want to run the eBay store, handle all the shipping, everything about it, and all the typing customer service. All, there's no phone calls. It's all, we know it's all typing. I'll give it a shot. What the heck? I don't know anything about eBay. Don't know. I thrived. I mean, I literally, their sales went up. They didn't have, the feedback was reversed. Like, I did all this stuff, and I was kicking butt. And then they sent me to they sent me to the eBay Open in 2018, I think, or 2019. And they sent me there to learn more about eBay for the company. No, I met resellers is what I did. I was there. Met nothing but resellers, and I learned about reselling. Came home, opened my own store, and within 8 months of that, I was full-time.
Wow. And how long has that been since all that happened?
I went full. So I went full-time in July of 2019. So I don't know. Yeah, it's been over 4 years now.
Okay. Wow. That's an interesting story. Mike, what about you?
Man, me, with eBay, I had a cousin that owned a company way back in the day called Blinkstar ATV Accessories. So I dabbled in eBay from 2002 to 2003, and then got out of it. Reselling, I always did. Like, when I was in the service, like, people were moving from Germany like all the time. And the problem is, these people don't want to get rid of stuff until the very end. Like, movers will come, like 4 to 6 weeks before you're actually leaving. And they don't want to get rid of stuff. They want their TV, they want their Xbox. So I was buying stuff there. I bought 3 cars and sold them all for profit there. And then came stateside and just same thing. Like, I'm going to buy whatever I can. I'm going to make profit wherever I can and go to garage sales. But I mean, this was strictly on Facebook Marketplace. Did all that through COVID as well. And then I want to say early 2020, early 2021, I was still doing a lot of fishing. Still had my boat, and I I was YouTubing. I started to, watch more people fishing on YouTube, and I couldn't remember this one guy that I had seen before. So I typed up guy in garage with beard, and it took me to Froggy Flips, and Froggy took me to John. John took me to Kevin, and then basically it's just a lot of money spent for those people to like me, and that's what led us to here.
That's wild. I'm just glad you typed that and didn't mistype or something. Who knows what community you would have ended up.
Yeah, I mean, it lined up perfectly with what I did. So like I said, I wasn't doing eBay. I was doing Facebook Marketplace at the time, and I was just like, well, let me get back into eBay. It's been years and years. I had no idea what I was doing. So I talked to my wife and I was like, hey, this lady down the street, she got a camera, but I want to buy it. Just put it on eBay. It was like this massive bundle thing, and it was $800. So I took that and I pieced it out, the whole bundle thing, and I made $2,300. And she was like, all right. I said, I just want to take the profit. I want that. I want to use that to start reselling. And she's like, yeah. And then when I sold all that stuff, she was like, try starting over with 300. So she took all the rest of it, and I started over with 300 and working full time at the time. 100% of everything that I had went back into the business. So that's where the Deathpile like came from. It was any amount of money because we didn't need the money at the time. It was just a hobby. Every bit was into shelves. It was into boxes. It was into some racks and tubs. But that is just like small compared to the income that I had. So I probably spent in the first year $30,000 just on inventory.
Wow.
And that's thrift stores, garage sales, retail arbitrage, different stuff. And well, I say retail arbitrage, online arbitrage.
It's just funny that we have the opposite. I today while going through my death pause, like I need more. I don't have that for Sonia and I going full time. That's been a little bit of the struggle. Like we're finding great stuff out here in Ohio, but because we came here with no death pile and I cut my inventory in half, it's been a struggle to build it back up to what we need to put up the numbers we need to put up. So we kind of
you cut off a lot. You cut off a lot before the move.
I'm finally back to, so I had 1,400 listings when we left Colorado, or I'm sorry, 1,400 at my peak in Colorado. We got here with less than 700 for sure, just over 600, I think. Now we are right back. We just went to 1,393 today, so we're just about back to 1,400 listings right now.
Oh my God, you don't count. I'm done talking to you.
Well, I got Sonia helping me now, so in 3 months,
I've never gone over. I've gone over 500 once, and I think it was like 505, and I'm down to like 360, or am I 460? It might be like 460.
I just went over 500 2 weeks ago, Mike. Now I'm back down to 479.
An important number though for both of you is that sold. Like, how many have you sold? I've sold 700 in the last since we've been here as well. We've been here just over 90 days, and we have 700 sold. So that's the more important number, anyways. How many have you guys sold in the last 9 days? Is a question I always like to ask.
Let me see.
Again, Jimmy, mind your business.
All right, minding my business over here. I'm just gonna go over here.
209.
That's
at 439 active. 209.
Y'all way better than me, babe.
Well, you're an educator.
Well, mine's only 86.
So. Yeah, go run laps around that, Wes. I'm a joker. If you've watched anything I've done, I'm not.
No wonder he's so skinny, Jimmy. He can't afford food.
That's right.
But my cost of goods is next to nothing. Like me in particular, like at 209, it's 12.5 is the total, but my cost of goods on that is atrociously low. I'm averaging, a lot of my stuff is 10x. So I would say a lot of it I'll have to settle, like thrift stores and stuff. You're gonna have to settle for the 3 to the 5x and stuff. So I'm probably like 7 or 8 on an average. So I'm still happy with that.
Yeah.
ROI.
Jimmy, you were talking about, I think you'd mentioned somewhere about how garage sales, yard sales are really good in Ohio.
Yep.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? What you're seeing, what you're picking up, and why do you think it's like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I came from the Denver metro area. I was basically, in Denver, just north of it, and I'd never had to leave my city that I was in. I was in the city of Thornton. The picking was good there. It's really good there. It's definitely, it's newer stuff. So I think that's kind of why I went into new, like I know newer toys, more modern toys way better than I do older toys because that's what I had to pick from. You know, the generations haven't been there. Like the houses I'm picking at were all newer houses, you know, built within the last 20 years. And there's not generation after generation living in that house or putting their stuff in that house. So, and you know, then obviously like the hiker and the backpacks and that kind of stuff was always really good there. But I get out here and it's just like, you know, you walk into an old barn and you just like, you can't believe some of the stuff that is sitting in this old barn that you know, that's from the 70s and 80s. And you're like, wow, I literally just picked in Colorado for 3.5 years and I never saw anything like this. And now I'm coming across it regularly, like old toys, old electronics, you name it. And just the fact that, I mean, and I'll name drop Kevin Commonwealth Picker again because you know I went to Virginia and I went picking with Kevin, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go picking on Friday, and he was kind of like, well, good luck with that. There were no yard sales on Friday. And there's a decent sized city in his area. No, we drove around for 2 hours and did not find one yard sale. We used the maps, used Facebook, everything. There are no yard sales on Friday.
Did he not give you a heads up?
No, he did. We, at the end of the day, we were still going to go out on that day. Our plan was to drive around, you know, see sites and look for yard sales, and we didn't find anything. And when I got to talking to Kevin, like, this is legit. Like, Kevin has Saturday to pick, and that's it. And the competition out there is insane. And so now I know Ohio, tomorrow I'm going to be out there and I've already found multiple sales on Facebook. I have multiple sales to go to already on Thursday. Friday will be the best day. Friday there'll be sales everywhere. And I don't even live in a big city. I'm just hitting all these little towns in my area that are having sales. Like, it's like they just love to have yard sales out here.
Now, does that also include estate sales? You're going to be grabbing some of those?
No, estate sales. Denver was where I loved estate sales, and I had a company out there that I made friends with the owner, and he would give me good deals, and I missed that. You have to go. So I'm literally right in between the big metro of Cleveland and the big metro of Columbus, but they're both over an hour away, right? Like an hour and 10 minutes each way ish, and you have to go to those cities for estate sales. Out here in the rural where I'm at, it's companies buy it out, and then so I have an auction house by my house that I go to, that they buy out the estates, and then they auction it off. They literally don't have estate sales at houses often. I mean, it's very rare. I've only been to 2 since I've been here, and I'm always looking for them. I just don't feel like driving that far for one yet. Maybe in the winter, not maybe in the winter we will. I just haven't had to because the yard sales are just everywhere.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no point in doing that if you don't have to. I mean, just go to your backyard and pick all you want, you know.
We were in a town last weekend. I don't even remember the name of it. And it's just a small town. It's maybe 11,000 people. And there was there's like 60 yard sales for the citywide sale. Just a small town in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and they're like, "Oh, we're a small town. There's 60 yard sales to hit." Like we went Friday and Saturday and hit every sale.
Dude, you're talking to somebody from Texas and Tennessee, man. You said how big? 60,000?
No, like 11,000.
11,000 people.
And
either way, that's not a small town.
I mean, to me, it is. To me, it is. I'm a city boy, by the way. For you. This is the first time ever I've lived in a small town. My town is like about 12,000. I lived in Phoenix, Denver, the Bay Area in California, and I stayed a summer in Houston. Like, I've only lived in big cities. Small town. This is all new to me.
I graduated from a town about 30 miles south of Dallas, and when we moved there, the population was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 1,234.
Hey, I'll just give you 2 towns in Tennessee you need to know: Turtletown, Tennessee, and Ducktown, Tennessee.
Ducktown, I like it.
Ducktown.
How big are they? They're small, aren't they?
Very, very small, but it's down near the Ocoee River, so it's
Okay.
it can be a happening place if you're just rolling through there real quick, I guess.
Yeah.
Under the river.
All right, I stand correct. What size am I? Like a medium sized town? Then what size town am I?
Oh yeah.
Or am I big city living over here?
Big city living. Well, I'm only 15 minutes from Knoxville, Tennessee. So
Okay, yep.
That's a medium.
That's a beautiful town right there.
Yeah, it's a great place to live.
Now Knoxville's bigger than where you are, Jimmy, but at the same time, like I consider Knoxville a big city.
Right.
I consider Chattanooga a big city. Basically, anything that's going to have a university is a bigger city. Now it just depends on what part of the area you're in. Like, are your neighbors 8 feet from you, or are they 800 feet from you?
I got you.
So
I don't know why I didn't know a lot about the geography of Ohio. I didn't realize Columbus, Ohio is it's a big city. I mean, Ohio State University. I did not know though that it was like it's almost the size of Denver. That shocked me.
Back in the 80s, they used to have a semi-pro team there, and my brother played for the Columbus Horizon in that city. So that's I went up there and watched him play one time. So I've been up to Columbus one time.
Nice. We've worked our way down there picking a couple times just to see what it's like. It's actually been pretty good.
Yeah, anytime you're looking like Division I places, like school places with Division I schools, like the larger universities, they're going to have like 30,000 student enrollment. So
I'm not gonna lie, I could almost make a living just selling Brutus stuff around here, but picking Brutus stuff and then something.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what.
You said you just sold Brutus, didn't you? Held on to kind of talk about that.
What was it now?
Didn't you just sell a Brutus?
Yeah, something? An inflatable Brutus. Yeah. I think that's the third inflatable Brutus I've sold, and I picked it up for $10 at a yard sale, sell for $120. I had this crazy little figure. It was a little Brutus, fisherman figure. It's Brutus dressed in like all the fly fishing gear, and he's got the hat and he's got all the lures on his hat and stuff, and it's just the Ohio State mascot Brutus. I know he sells, right? So like now I've already learned he sells. Bought him for $3. I get home and I'm start looking at this guy. I'm like, there's no way that this guy's worth $300. Like, there's just no way. It's just a little figure. Sold that sucker for $299.99 plus shipping.
Wow.
And I paid $3. But I didn't even know. Like when I picked it, I didn't even know what I was like. It's got to be worth more than $3. Was the whole thing when I bought it because I know Brutus sells.
Right.
And it was when I listed it was the only one on eBay, and it sold within a week of listing. It was wild. So
wow,
that's been amazing to me. Like Denver Broncos are big in Denver, and they have a decent following, but nothing like Ohio State. Like it's unbelievable.
Like that yeah. That just goes to show you gotta stress the importance because it goes to show you how obnoxious their fans can be.
That's probably been the most.
I mean, sorry, how loyal their fans can be. Yeah,
yeah that's been probably the most pleasant surprise is the fact that stuff's everywhere. I find Brutus and Ohio State stuff regularly, and I've sold just about everything I've ever found. It sells fast. It's wild.
Yeah,
it sounds like you're sitting in a sweet spot. Hour from Cleveland, wherever you're at, you're in a great spot to be. It sounds like.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be this good. I mean, it's been, and the competition in some of these smaller areas is almost non-existent. Because coming from Denver, I dealt with literally 20 to 30 guys that just drove around in their cars, walk up to the sale. You got any video games? When they say no, they get back in their car and drive away. Well, I don't consider that stiff competition because I'm a better picker than that. It meant I hardly ever found video games in Colorado. Like I hardly ever did. You can go here on a sale that started on Friday. You could go Saturday at 3 p.m. and ask if they got video games, and nobody's asked them till that point. That to me is, well, it's not, it's not the definition of good picking. It's crazy to me that they made it to that far, almost to the end of their sale before anybody asked them for video games because it was unheard of in Denver.
No, you do that down here, and you have that same kind of result. And most of the time, you just walk up and assume the prices are atrocious. Right. Like that's why it's still there. But you were talking about the Brutus and like how quick the turnaround is, or like how the profit was on that. Give us an outline, because I know this story. This is like one of the most appealing things about you. Give us some history on like how you structure your store, because this is absolutely crazy to me, and kudos to you.
I'm not sure if I
Your sales, like, so you put items on sale.
Yeah.
And you do it at a pace far above and beyond a lot of other resellers. You want to tell us about it?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I understand what.
Just spill your secrets.
Spill your secret, Jimmy. Okay, so you have an item. When is that item going to be on 10%, on 20%,
okay.
on 30%? There you go.
I got so.
Hey, Jimmy, hang on just a second. Now's the time for us to introduce ourselves since we've gone. See, I'm following your pattern that you said. Okay, so we're going. Yeah. Now we're into the show. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourself if you would.
All right. My name is Jimmy. I'm Old School Flips across all platforms. I tried a different name for a little bit. I'm back to Old School Flips on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Even I actually had a video go crazy on TikTok. I messed around on there for a little while. YouTube is my main focus right now. I'm also working on a podcast that's not out right now, but it's in the works, and you'll see it in the future. And I don't have a name for anything like that, but it's in the works.
Okay,
very exciting. Mike, Deathpile Picker, Deathpile Picker on YouTube, Deathpile Picker on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok and Facebook. Kind of, sorta. I try and stay off TikTok. I try and stay off Instagram. Instagram, I don't do a lot of short form content. Basically, that's all I'm saying. So a little bit more long form on YouTube, and gonna dabble in some shorts with YouTube with the select series.
Cool.
I like it. I'm Wes from the Slim Flippers, and I'm also on. This is my platform here on YouTube, the Slim Flippers. Me and my wife make up the Slim Flippers. My wife Melanie. We're also on Instagram, and I'm getting into the TikTok thing.
Right.
But I was thinking the other night, Jimmy, about somebody had said, I don't know if it was who it was, but when you were doing your Instagram live about recording it, but also making like YouTube shorts out of it. But anyway, we can jump back into that in a minute. So go ahead, and I want to go back to what he was asking you about your percentage and all that stuff.
Right. So I want to credit name dropping. This is fun name dropping.
No, stop it, Jimmy.
Craigslist Hunter. And this is when this was when I was just more of a viewer. And while I can't relate to his business as far as, having the storefront and stuff kind of showing up to his door, which I'm not saying, I'm not disservicing him at all, but he did a video that I thought was really smart. It was along the lines of what I do now. It's been so long ago, I don't remember exactly how it went, so I don't want to it led me to doing this. He said something about, if you price something, we all know if you price something right and it's desirable, it's going to sell right away. Like as long as the key factor is you have an established eBay store that, isn't a mess, or you're just starting off or whatever. If you price something that's desirable and it's priced right, it's going to sell right away. It's going to sell within, and that's, for me, that's the case. So he said after that, if it hasn't sold in 30 days, it's time to run a sale on it to see if you have it priced too high. And so that's kind of what led me to this. So after 30 days, my items go on 10% off. And then after 60 days, if it's over 60 days old, now it's on 20% off. And then if it goes over 90 days, then it goes on 30% off. And then I just reset those sales every month, except for a couple stipulations. Like this time of year, I highly recommend doing this because I've seen results already, by the way. If you have jackets, coats, or winter clothes, end them and sell similar. If you have Halloween, Christmas, or Thanksgiving, or any of those holiday type items, end them and sell similar throughout the rest of the year. From this point on, don't put them on discount. This is, and so when I set my discounts, I sort it by how long it's been on eBay, right? So if I end it and sell similar, it now goes back to 1 day on eBay. So when I sort it, those items aren't going to be added to my discounts anymore. They're now fresh listings that are no longer discounted because they will sell better this time of year anyways. So that's
Okay, so that's
those are
a
some of the
little
things
less
I do.
extreme. That's a little less extreme than I remember, because there was a time where you were doing it like in 3 weeks it was 30% off.
Really?
Yeah. So that might have been pre-move where
That might
you're
have been
just trying to
pre-move.
minimize.
Now during the
Okay.
move, I was running some big sales. That could, yeah, and pre-move. I set up that step down to 30%. Maybe since then I've set up that. But it's actually not a bad idea, Mike, because when you put that stuff, sales help so much, and sometimes you're just like holding on to stuff. It's a real reality check when you because when I moved, I put my entire store except for a few key items. I put everything on 50% off. And just to purge, because I needed to get rid of stuff. I couldn't bring it all. And it's a real like eye opener reality check when stuff's not selling at 50% off. Like, a lot of the stuff I put on 50% off didn't sell.
Well, it's not you. That right there has to do either algorithm or other people's paid promotion. There's no way that you're going in there and you're looking at sold comps and you're pricing something 50% higher than other people, or sorry, 2 times the amount. If it's not selling 50%, they're not pricing it twice the amount of sold comps. There's something that is unexplainable. That I see it all the time. Every time something doesn't sell, and I'm like, I have 0 views on this thing. And then you go in there and you're like, 50 of them sold today. Like, what do you mean? Nobody looked at mine. And of that 50, 25 of them sold for more than what I'm asking.
Right.
And I mean, it might be like $1. It might be like a video game or something like that. But it might be $1 difference. But the margins between like the sold price and the sold comps are usually anywhere between $2 and $3 on video games, and you can hit 100 of them in a day. So it's not what you're doing wrong.
Right, I agree. It's definitely stuff getting stale is part of it. I don't say end and sell similar all the time, but like there's something to be said for I always end and sell similar in my video games. Like Mike just talked, I do that often because that is a category where fresh listings help. I just ended and sold similar on 2 Nintendo Wiis that had been sitting for over a month. They're both now out the door within 3 days of ending and selling similar on them.
Yeah, that's what I'll always do. I'll always lead on that when I go on time away. And like, trust me, we do a lot of time away with us going to Cincinnati and my wife's addiction to vacations. It is crazy. So every time we come back, I will sit down and religiously, I will list 10 video games for like the first 2 days just to get an extra 20. And like that'll get it boosted because it's a category that everybody's looking at. So the views help and it gets a boost. And I don't know. All the other stuff is Area 51. I mean, that's where eBay is based. Nobody knows.
Yeah, right. No, it's actually really smart because I do the same thing whenever I go on away. That's part of why my store got boosted when I got back from away. Before you leave for away mode, I highly recommend this. Always put, whether it's video games or something that sells well, put it aside maybe 15, 20 pieces. So when you get back from away, list that stuff. List it as soon as you get back to give that a little boost, give you a little kickstart to your store.
Yeah, the problem is like
adrenaline rush.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it is. And the thing is, like, I love selling video games, but the problem is, like, I buy anything with profit. But on the ones where I need to do, I'm sitting here listing video games and running out of space because I just refuse to list a large item. Like I've got a $300 typewriter that I could go list. I've got one of those, what are they, indigestion pillows or something. Found a brand new one for like $20, and that thing sells for like $200.
That's funny. That was my nickname in high school. Indigestion
pillow.
Yeah,
indigestion pillow.
That's right.
It's funny that you should mention that.
That's right. But dude, big old boxes of trains, RC cars, things like that, little slot tracks, like oversized items, golf clubs, golf bags, brand new sets. Like, meh.
Well, I'm gonna come down. That's the kind of stuff I have to sell. If I'm gonna,
let me list this. Let me list this Wii game right here and make some room in my.
All right, so Mike, I told you off camera I'm coming to Panama City, so I'm gonna do a swing by on my way back.
Do it. Like,
so now we know you're death.
Otherwise, it's going whatnot. And the thing is, like I said, I've got some plans to ramp up whatnot. I've got some plans to ramp up eBay and social media and everything in the near future. But yeah, I've got enough stuff that if you come by and if you're fine with just profit and not prizes, like I'll make you some gas money back. I got no quarrels with that. You're not getting my 80s vintage toys, and you're not getting my video games, because they're kind of like Jimmy. Like I want, I want the decorations. I want the cool stuff. I want to have it here. I want to sell it, but at the same time, I don't want somebody else to profit on the things that I truly love.
Yep.
Like, I think I asked Rod Picking and Punching. We talk quite often, and I talked to Rod, and I was like, "Hey, dude, he's a couple hours away. He's down in Tampa, so he could be up here in 6 hours." And I'm like, "You come pick my stuff, dude. I don't care." And he's like, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, he's like, "I'll do it. What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "You want to buy a typewriter?" And he's like, No. And I was like, I said, "Hey, would you want to buy a typewriter for $100?" And he's like, No. Well, this typewriter is going to have 100% sell through rate, and it sells for, like I said, $250 to $300, depending on the condition. And mine's good condition. And he still said no. And then I told him that, and he's like, "Well, I mean, I can make some exceptions, but the money thing like that, it does, at this point in time, my wife is not. I no longer make her happy. That's the truth.
No, Mike, that's a whole different genre.
No. Everywhere else in the house, I make her happy. That's fine. Going out, vacation, perfectly fine. My reselling business no longer makes her happy.
Well, it's because of the Deathpile, Mike. It's because you have 3 golf bags, a typewriter, and a bunch of golf clubs and VCR combos. Come on, man. That thing has a
12 to 15 VCR combos.
See, Mike, you were talking about, getting into like videos and stuff like that. There's your first video, going through your death pile.
I did it. I kind of did an introduction and I think in this video I actually said as much crap as I give Dave for being a bad reseller, I'm way worse. and I mean, back then this was before the new reinvented $15 Dave. This was $3.99 DVD Dave. And yeah, it is a night and day difference in what he's achieved and what I would love to achieve. I don't have the motivation yet. Like Dave can inspire me all he wants to, but I just can't act. I don't care. I stay true to the name. Oh,
hey, but what's crazy is, like, that's true. I look back, I was a terrible picker when it's amazing to think, and watching some of my old videos and some of the stuff I missed, I see that I was a terrible picker.
Yeah.
But it starts to feel so good when you're like, I don't even have to break out my phone at that sale. Like, I just started, and that's when picking becomes really fun, by the way, everybody. When you don't have to break out your phone to look stuff up, when you're just naturally picking and you're like in your comfort zone and it's the kind of stuff you like to pick and the prices are good, that is what keeps me going, because that is an adrenaline rush and it's fun as can be.
Well, my wife, she'll look at me and she'll say, "Are you not picking that up? You've picked the last 2 up of those." I said, "Nope, not anymore." So I'm starting to feel what you're talking about.
Yep.
you know, she'll be like shocked that I can't believe you're leaving that. I'm like, we don't need it. It's just going to take up space.
Okay, so yours and it's not the fact that it's a bad item to resell. It's just you already have it and you don't want more.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have that button. It's broken.
Yeah, I almost don't. I mean, I will say when I was just me full time and my wife was working a full time job, and I had a Mike style death pile, I stopped buying certain things that I knew I could flip, but I just didn't have time, didn't have space, and I didn't have to buy them. It got to that point. Now I'm back to not passing that stuff up again. We're buying everything that we think we can flip. We're now buying again. But there was a time I was there, just because.
Well, let me ask you, Wes. You don't have a antique booth or anything, do you?
I do not.
Yeah, and I know Jimmy, he ain't dealing with that.
No, not yet. Although it's in the
So,
discussion.
See, I bought.
Going to have an antique booth.
Like I said, in reinvesting all this money, I bought some stuff that you could put in there. I bought some tchotchkes and knickknacks and stuff like that.
Right.
Things would be great for like little grab bag boxes, and that's what I'm. It's just going to be called a fill of 4 grab bag, and it's just going to be. I'm going to go to my shed and I'm just going to take a number 4 box, 7x7x6, and I'm just going to just dump some stuff in there, and I'm going to auction off like 40 or 50 of them. I would love to do that because it is. I had that kind of mix of just action figures and just tchotchkes and knickknacks and electronics and just anything. I got Walkmans out there. I've got Olympus cameras. I'm horrible. I hate myself.
We didn't mean to depress you tonight, Mike.
No.
I'm not going to come down there and pick for you. I'm just going to come down there and list for you. Like at this point, you're making me feel so bad for you that I'm just going to come down there.
No.
We're just going to go down and have a listing party. How about that?
I'm going to do the whatnots, but come down here before I do that because y'all are more than welcome to it. I'll give you a good deal.
Take time. I'm going to be in your whatnot, scooping up stuff.
That's fine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. I got enough resellers in there that are buying stuff for $2 and $3 that I get to watch them sell for 7 or 8 on their own. Again,
it's actually a really smart idea, and you got the perfect name for whatnot.
I know, man. The only problem is I've been so niched down. I'll go down and I'll do Hallmark ornaments. I did a couple of shows, and I made some real good money on that. And I did some VHS shows, but outside of that, not really. And Wes, y'all are getting into whatnot.
I want to. I haven't yet. I want to.
Yeah.
That's on the agenda. I should get back into it. I had a couple decent shows.
Well, you said you don't have the inventory for it right now.
Right now, I could do a couple things, but it would not be sustainable. That's the problem, right? I could not sustain. I would run out pretty quick. Yeah,
I don't have enough either.
And whatnot, I feel like is all about building momentum, and I'd have to stop probably right when I'm hitting stride. So that would be a problem. And I found for me, the biggest problem for whatnot for me was picking for whatnot. It becomes
what's the issue with you there?
Let me rewind. When I first started whatnot, it was kind of like going to my active eBay listing, pulling some things that have just been sitting forever and just not, and I don't really think about what I had into it because it's so old and I've had it so long that I didn't really worry about what I had into it. It's like as long as I made some money, right? I made some money on this stuff because it was so old I didn't really care. But when you actually actively go out and buy a box full of hats for $30, well, now you're thinking about that $30 you have into it, and then if you have a bad show and only make $60, you're like, well, was it really worth it for $30? You know what I mean? So it became a little bit of an issue for me because I was actively picking for it instead of pulling dead inventory. And I started doing the math on some stuff. And like by the time I paid for my boxes, because they were all first class, and my labels and the $30 I have into the hats, what did I didn't make hardly anything.
Make it worth it, Jimmy. Make it worth it. And the easiest way to do that is like anytime you look at it, you look at your buy price, and you listen to Kerry, you listen to Eric OBX Picker, and they'll always tell you like it starts at the buy. Like,
Right.
that's it. Like, your money is made at the buy. And yeah, if you're looking at your average buy price of 50 cents to $1, your starting price is $3. That's it.
Yep.
And everybody's always worried, like, oh yeah, we're gonna do $1 start. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I don't have that. And who cares if it's a $3 start? There's not a stigma with this dollar start. Like, it's not something where like that's just a regular.
Then the question I have to ask you then, because I've been here, I ran a sale of decent vintage trucker hats. They weren't garbage. They were decent hats, and it was crickets. Like, I literally ran like 5 hats, no bids whatsoever. Have you?
You ran 5 hats, like, and then you just ended your show.
Because I got no bids, and then I was like, if you see something in the store, let me know. I'll run it. Nobody's just no, and there wasn't a lot of people there, and I got no bids.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, Jimmy. I'm afraid of one person, 2 people there, and they're not buying it. And I'm like, I'm just wasting my time.
Now,
I'll tell you. Let me tell you a story. My first Whatnot show. Sorry, and I'll let you get to it, Jimmy. I came in and I did. My daughter and I, she wanted to do a Whatnot, just make some money. And so we did this whole thing. We got on Spotify, and we were doing media. So I had VHS, I had cassettes, I had CDs, and like I would lot them up, stuff like that. And like if I did a Dirty Dancing VHS, we'd have the Dirty Dancing song come on, and we would just skip through the songs, and it would tell us what items we're going to run next.
Right.
And I had 2 giveaways in 1 purchase. That show cost me money. Yeah. And it was because it was done without any notice. I did it 30 minutes. It was just a spur of the moment thing because my daughter wanted to. So there was no notice. There was no following. And I did it before they had media mail set up. So everybody that first was first class at the time. And it was atrocious. Like it was a horrible idea. So now you need to, I guarantee you, Jimmy, you do a hat auction. You do it under garage sales or estate sales or under hats or clothing. If you do it under those designated categories, then you do it and give a 2-week notice. You're going to have some people that are going to set that bookmark, and you're going to have to promote yourself. And it doesn't have to be the kind where you put it on your YouTube and let everybody know, but just like pop up on Instagram and be like, hey, y'all, I'm doing a Whatnot show. Hey, I make a story about it. First thing I would do is make a reel about it. That way you have some of the static on there that's broadcast. And then you're going to do your story like once every 4 or 5 days leading up to it. And then in the last 3 days, like on 3 days out, and then do it the day before and the day of. And you do something like that to promote a show. And this is me. Like, I don't do it because I'm not to the point where my wife will stop going on vacation to where I can schedule this kind of stuff. And that now I'm trying to do I'm really learning at the YouTube thing. And most of my time is dedicated at that. And y'all see the quality of that. Like it's atrocious. So I've got room to grow. But with Whatnot, man, do it.
Because I won't argue. When I say what I said, I definitely blame myself. I didn't do enough. Now I did preload. I did some promoting. I didn't do probably not enough because ultimately Whatnot's about doing multiple shows and promoting that way. That's the ultimate way to do it. And I didn't put in the work.
If you are paid, they want you to do that. If you're not, who cares? It's just it's the same as a Facebook Live. It's the same as us doing something like this. It's dedicating an hour and a half once a week to go in there and do something.
I'm going to turn to the host real quick, and I want to ask Wes, though. Like, I want to ask Wes, what is your plan for your first Whatnot show? Have you thought about it? Have you put any thoughts into it? What kind of stuff? If you don't mind me turning to the host real quick.
No, I don't. It don't bother me at all.
I'm just curious.
Hats,
like trucker hats, or
no? Well, yeah, trucker hats. But I have a specific one because I came across he was a veteran that had passed away, and I've got a lot of Vietnam veteran those kind of hats that I'm going to try to use. I've got probably about 30 something of them.
All right,
and they're all Vietnam vet kind of stuff.
Yep.
Don't do Whatnot.
Okay, then don't. There you go. That just crushes
that. So and it's not to discourage you from doing and whatnot. It's having assortment, like variety is going to be a huge thing with that.
Okay.
And
so you're saying
then
like
you're going to look
them
at the price.
have 5 different other kinds of hats. And
Yeah.
You know what I would recommend doing is having all different kinds of. I don't know if you can still do this on Whatnot. Let me know.
Yes, buyer's choice.
Buyer's choice. So have totally different genres of hats or whatever, and put 3 of them up there. Buyer picks the hat they want. They bid. Then you say, which hat do you want? And then they'll say, I'll take the one on the left. And then when they take the one on the left, put a new one on the left that, from the same category of the one you took down. And,
it's very, very key. So like, that's how I ran my VHS auctions. It is a buyer's choice. And had I thought about it, I would have done my Hallmark auctions the same. It's just easier because I get down with an item. If you're doing like items, it's always great because I keep garage sale stickers around and they'll just be listed 1 through 60 or whatever, however many items I have. I sell one, I just put the sticker out there on that number. So it'll be like hat 1, and then I'll do a quantity of 60, and then each auction will come up with hat 2, hat 3, hat 4. I'll put that sticker on there, and I know when I'm looking through the orders and lotting the similar items to each individual buyer, I just stack them up and we're done. Like when you're doing something like that, because your weight's all the same. Right. The thing with VHS, it was all the same. But I've got horror, I had sci-fi, and I had 80s, like 80s, 90s kind of pop culture stuff. But you put 2 of each of those up there, and then you're creating a demand for 3 different genres, 3 different categories. Like Jimmy said, 3 different types of hats or 6 different types of hats. You have one person that's bidding, hey, I want this hat, that's bidding against somebody that wants a completely different hat.
And so then
they're driving the market up.
And then in the next round, that guy that wanted the one that lost is still bidding in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever wins the hat, whoever wins the bid, then they pick the hat that they want. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So anytime you do a buyer's choice, it's always great like that. Doing the mystery box like that, or not, mine isn't a mystery box. It's just going to be a box like the number 4 boxes. I've got to get the weight close or pre-measure them and just say like, hey, all these boxes are going to be 3 pounds, 4 pounds. And that way, or I pre-weigh them and say box number 1 is this weight. Box number 2 is this weight. And then I just reveal it and I let them bid. Like right now, I just need the space more than anything. So I could sacrifice that kind of stuff to pass on some deals, because I promise you, I put something out there that's worth $30 and I do a $10 start on some mystery boxes, and it's going to have value up to 40 or 50. Like I'm still not losing money at $10.
Right.
I think, Mike, you could move a lot of your product. I mean, super fast. I mean, really fast. You could create.
I could.
Yeah,
I could, but it comes down to Jimmy's thing, like you say, sustainability. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? I can do like little lots of. I've got tobacco memorabilia, and like I said, like grab bags at thrift store, that type of stuff. For days, I've got probably 20 of the 27-gallon tubs just filled up with action figures.
And there's just toys. So many things you have to mentally prepare yourself for. Like you have to prepare yourself for a stinker. You have to prepare yourself for, let's say you run this Furby and you expected to get 10 and you got 5. But then in the same sale, you run this little Polly Pocket and you expected to get 5 and you get 18. Like stuff like that happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost can't even explain why. It's just the right person in the right spot. But then, so I ventured into selling some of my better stuff that I was already into the profit on. Battle Beasts. Mike knows what Battle Beasts are. The older, I don't know if you know, Wes, what Battle Beasts are. They're like older Takara Transformer line figures from the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I ran them on there just to see what because I was already into the profit on the lot that I bought. I just wanted to see what happens when I sell some of my better inventory on there. And it was a successful sale. It did good, but in the end, I was at about 60% of what I would have made on eBay, and it was probably one of my best sales, and I did really good. But when I sat back and looked at it, it was still only about 60% of what I would have if I would have waited it out on eBay. So, but for me, that was worth it because I bought them in a lot. I had already sold a lot of them on eBay, and these were just kind of like the last 7 figures that were just, had been straggling, sitting there because they just weren't as desirable or whatever. And so I was fine with it because I was earning the profit on the whole buy. So
right,
stuff like that's, to me, that's when you go into your better inventory. That and like Mike said, when you go into your better inventory, make sure you preload everything, have it to where they can go in there and see it many days in advance, so they're bookmarking it and promote it as much as you can on social media to drive the collectors there, not the resellers, the collectors.
Yeah. That's when you go into your particular category and you keep your category all the same. You want to go to an estate sale, expect to get those kind of margins on your return.
Right.
And at the same time, you're going to have an assortment of stuff. Like there's not a chance in heck that I would list like a water Pokemon game that I have, or
why not?
I got a
I'll come and buy it, Mike.
like this right here. They're right there.
Yeah.
It's a Lucite Abraham Polotnik. I think it's Abraham Polotnik.
All right, now you're speaking another language to me.
Yeah. So it's a Polotnik Lucite figure, but that little thing goes for $130. It like sells all the time for 110 to 120. I'm just stubborn. I'm just stubborn and keep it 100. $20. Yeah, I know. But the problem is, you put some stuff like that on there, it's not going to do good. I've got a She-Ra that's on card that then there's not a chance I would put it in a whatnot. I don't have that following, but that's why you see a lot of those. It's because I don't want that business model. There's plenty of people that do. There's plenty of people that go in there, and everybody has said it. Like they hate the shows that you go in and like, it looks like Jimmy's room, and it's like, here's my collection. Just let me know if you'd like anything, and I'll give you a price. I'm like, nah, dude, run that stuff. Run that stuff for $2. Let's see what you get.
Yeah, put it up or shut up.
Well, let me ask you about this. Okay, going through your death pile, stuff that's been there over a year. Do you just have a big yard sale and get rid of it, or do you run it on whatnot? Because some people don't like to sell, quote unquote, their junk. What do you do in that situation?
For me, I got to figure out what I'm going to do here in Ohio. While yard sales are good for pickers, I don't think they're good for sellers. Like, I don't feel like I would get a lot of traffic just by going to yard sales in my town. There's never a lot of people there when I'm there, so I don't think there would be the traffic. Where when I lived in Colorado, where I lived, no exaggeration, I could have a yard sale with some of my Deathpile and some of my stale inventory that I'm fine with not making a lot of money on. And, $2. Actually, that's $2. It was the $2 sale. Like everything was $2. Like there was only a handful of things that I had priced a little bit higher. And I'd walk away at, over $1,000 on a 3-day weekend of sale, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Like there was nothing for me to make over $1,000 doing that. Just, and some of it was storage locker stuff that, when I bought an auction, I had some clothes. Clothes always help. Clothes were, $1. So that's what I used to do. That's why I think I got to get back into whatnot, because we're going to try a yard sale next spring to see how it goes. But I don't think we're going to, my head would spin off at the yard sales in Ohio, because there would be times where I have 15 people at my sale at one time, like literally like a store.
Right.
And it got to be known because I had them, 2 a year, and people got to know my sales, and they would be there waiting before I started because they knew everything was going to be cheap, and there was decent. I would put decent stuff out there. It wasn't all just junk. So I don't know. I think I'm going to have to do whatnot out here to move some of that kind of stuff. Sorry, that was a long.
Now you're talking about garage sales.
Oh boy.
No, like would you ever do a garage sale? You wouldn't do one.
I'm gonna try them. I don't know.
Okay. Me? Absolutely not. Absolutely
have
not.
one, Mike. I'll drive all the way down if you're gonna have one.
No, y'all can come up here and private pick all you want to. I don't care.
All right.
But that's helping out another reseller that I generally like to help out. But otherwise, like, y'all didn't pay my gas to go find all this crap. Like, these people coming into my driveway, like, I want to get. I'm like, no, dude, that don't work that way. Okay. Like,
Get
yeah,
your
I'm already
5-gallon bucket and set it down at the end of the driveway and tell them to put the gas donations
Yeah.
in.
Listen,
like, you don't understand. Watch my YouTube. I'm the one that gets deals, not you.
listen
Okay?
here though. Listen to this YouTube idea. You have sales, and it's just Mike arguing with the people that are trying to negotiate with him at his sale.
That'd be hilarious.
That's YouTube gold.
That is gross. That you're right. So what we need to do,
Protecting the death pile.
we need to go down there and go on our private pig, but we'll get these clips of him
I'm
arguing.
gonna go there with my GoPro. And I'm gonna lowball him on everything. I'm gonna be like,
no, I tell you, kick rocks. I don't care. But
I'm
so
joking,
so I'll tell you, there's a story. There's another local YouTuber, Baldy Pal.
oh yeah, I know.
Adam, yeah. So Adam comes by, and we're having our neighborhood yard sale. We do it in the spring and in the fall. And one year I got a wild hair up my butt, and I put some stuff all in the driveway. And of course, then my wife's like, all right, well, we're good to go. And I was like, okay, watch this stuff. I go picking the whole neighborhood. And my wife, this is why she hates my death pile. My wife, she's just mad because she's like, I'm going to give it away. I'm like, don't give it away, but you can give them deals. I don't care. But Adam calls me, and he's like, hey, you got a Black & Decker Space Maker can opener? And I'm like, no, I didn't know. I mean, I got a couple of them, I'm sure, but I didn't know one was out there. And he's like, yeah, you sure you want to sell that? I was like, yeah, give me $10. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, I was like, yeah, it's an easy 40, dude. You want, like, give me $10. And I bought the thing for like $2. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. Like, the money doesn't make a difference. My death pile can burn up tomorrow. I'm not, my quality of life is going to be no different whatsoever.
But like you said, that's that stuff that's not the collectibles that you love. So I mean,
no collectibles too.
You're not emotionally attached.
I ain't sell them. They can burn up.
Actually, he does collect Black & Decker Space Sabers. That's
but
I'm sorry to tell you a secret.
He called me and gave my wife $10, and then he posted on the video like, I bought this from Mike for $10. And I don't know why he sold it, but I made $40. I'm like, dude, we all made a profit. Who cares?
So one of the last topics that I wanted to go through this evening, and I think we had talked about this earlier too.
This is the topic.
Well, this is the topic.
Right.
Editing and videoing when you're out sourcing.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Where are you at on that?
I struggle with the fact that I'm not a good artist. I talked a little bit about on
elaborate.
Yeah,
what do you mean? You're not a good
I'm
artist?
digging at it because I know you talked about it on Instagram. See,
so like it's like I consider editing like some comparable to what an artist, a musician, or a painter. They pick up an instrument and they either they automatically can play the guitar, or they teach themselves how to play the guitar. But either way, not just copying what someone else is doing, having a song pop into their head and then being able to play it on the guitar, or having a vision of a masterpiece and putting it on
that takes years of experience, Jimmy. That's not new.
No, some people can pick it up and just do it, man. There are, for sure, there's savants or whatever. There's people that are naturally just artists. Like,
that's great.
Growing up, my brother could draw anything and it turned out amazing. Then you give me a pen and it's like, my mom's like, he's just special. Like when it comes to him drawing. And so but vice versa, I'm going to use my brother. Vice versa, my brother plays the guitar and plays the bass guitar now. He was never naturally gifted at it. He had friends around him that he was like, I'll never be as good as them. But dang it, I'm going to lock myself in this closet and learn how to play this guitar if it kills me. And so he's a good guitarist, but I know it frustrates him that kid picked up the guitar and was just able to play, right? So my point is, when it comes to editing, I struggle with what I have in my head and putting it into the video, making it happen. And I know how to use my editor. I'm pretty good at it. I know a lot of the tricks. I know a lot of the editing tools, and I know, but I just, when I think of something, I just have so much trouble making it translate in the video. So I'm teaching myself right now. I'm working hard. I'm that person that has to work hard and teach myself how to turn it into what I want. And I'm watching a lot of videos on how editing tricks and, how to keep, not just draw people to your video, but keep them watching. And I'm gonna start focusing on that kind of stuff more on my channel. It's a challenge for me. And then on top of that, the footage. If you just strap a GoPro to your chest and walk around, the footage is not great. It's just not. It's decent, but it's not great.
One of
my favorite channels is The Art of Resale. I know you like him as well. The Art of Resale Art. He focuses on B-roll footage, like getting footage of not just the yard sale, of him talking, of him driving down the street, of this yard sale sign, of whatever, him at the gas station riding a skate. Like he focuses on getting good footage, and I need to get better at that too. So that's something else.
Oh yeah, you gotta hire another person to like follow you around, because I mean that's what it is. He has
I have somebody. Sonia's
point
with
of
me
view. So okay, so you have Sonia that's going to have a separate GoPro, because he ties it together. He has the interactions that are on his chest, and then he has the interactions from the third person point of view, and you can see that. Now, does that play into it? Does that make his whole video? Absolutely not. It's your personality, and you have that. So don't sell yourself short on that.
Right.
I know, it's just a matter of breaking down and doing it. I study when I watch YouTube videos, I can't watch a TV show without paying attention to the editing anymore. Like, here's a fun for everybody watching. Like, if you watch
that's miserable.
It's gonna drive you crazy. It's gonna drive you crazy when I ask you to do this. At least it does me. Go watch a modern reality show. Like I'm not asking you to go watch the Kardashians to enjoy it. I'm telling you to go watch something like that. It doesn't have to be the Kardashians, but something along those lines. Any modern show, especially like reality TV, when the camera, count in seconds in your head how many times the camera stays on the shot it's on. And if you get to 4 seconds, you should be shocked, because the camera and the view and or just the total whatever you're looking at, it changes every 3 to 4 seconds. And that blows my mind when I watch it. And that's editing that I didn't even realize my whole life I had been watching. But it'll drive you crazy when you do what I said right now. Go watch that show, and just when the camera's on this angle, 1, 2, then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and it changes.
Number one,
often you wouldn't believe it.
Number one, never. You're not going to get me watch Keep Up with the Kardashians.
Right.
Not going to happen.
Go watch Hell's Kitchen or something like that. Then.
I ain't watching Hell's Kitchen. I hate reality shows.
All right.
So I'll tell you this though, but you're 100% right. The attention span of the average people is atrocious. It is horrible. That's why shorts. That's why art is successful at shorts.
Yep. And
his long form content is great. His long form content is amazing, but his shorts are where it's at, because he's got that.
Oh, he's a great editor.
He's got the quickness. He's got the editing. He's got the third person point of view. All of that stuff. Now you want to look at that and what you say, like how you say you can't stay with the same shot the whole time. This right here is boring. That what y'all got going on, that's boring, because it's there. Like it is colorful. It tells a story. It tells us who we are, all this other stuff. But it is boring without it changing constantly. So anytime that you're putting yourself in that perspective, there's a couple of things, and I'll tell you.
There you go. See, exactly.
Anytime that you're in that. Anytime that you're aware, you're killing me. Anytime that you're aware.
Wes knows what he's already a better editor than me.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, So
And remember, this is my first show on this platform. So
Yep, I got
right.
you.
That's
Cool.
good. But take a look at. I'll tell you this, man. Like being new, and I have to lean on a lot of people, and you're going to lean on the people that you trust, and you're going to lean on the people that you watch. So you're always going to ask them for advice, and a lot of that, all that credit for me personally, growth. If I had to give it to 3 people, it would be Rod, who spent probably more time in the beginning stages, the pre 500 of like, hey, stop doing that dumb stuff and let's look at this. So I mean, there's a lot of harsh truths in there. Then it's a lot of sit downs. The 500 to 1000s are sit downs with Kevin's, phone calls with Dave, but I mean, anybody that's there, it's like find the people that are willing to, that have the time and are willing to give it to you. But at the same time, you have to make it worth it. Like I said, it cost me thousands of dollars. Like I would have to, they would invoice me all the time. Dave and Kevin is amazing. Like, so that's basically why I list all those video games. But no, so look at Kevin, for instance, very, very analytical from every movement on the flipper channel. I'll tell you about the picker channel as well. But on the picker, like Jimmy said, it is complete engagement. It is this shot from that shot to this wall, and all it is saying like, oh, I got a damn get along gang moose over here. Oh, he's got this thing for sale. Oh, he's got a Chucky. Oh, look at his Monster Squad thing. Oh, he's got why's he got 2 Deathpile support pigs? Well, because even I can't sell them. That's why. But dude, it is very, very analytical what Kevin does. And it's every motion, like to what he said about putting down an item and pushing it a little bit. It's so structured that it keeps them engaged. It's different scenery. It's different shots from different parts of the shed. And that's what it is. And then when it comes to something like a picker, like Jimmy said, instead of that third person point of view, Jimmy, instead, like my biggest thing is I would wear a camera here. I started off with
that's where I wear mine right here.
I started off with the magnet.
Yep, that's what I got.
And I did it in the winter, so I had a sweater and then a t-shirt, so it held together. When you get in the summer and you just got one shirt and you go to lean over, that thing is just swinging like the girls are.
I wear an Under Armour shirt.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way I can get away with it, though. I agree with you, because I have to wear that Under Armour shirt.
It'll swing around. Well, I went over to the backpack mounted one. Yeah. And a lot of that is under the behest, you don't care what I do, under the guidance of Kevin. And if you look at some stuff like that, it's a reason why he does that is because he has a loose strap on this side. And if he wants to look down at an item, he looks down.
Yep.
And then if he wants to, like, he can be walking and talking and somebody just says something over here and he can just go. Yep. He can turn his camera. If it's over here, he can turn his camera. And that camera, like,
you just take your shirt off, Mike.
Yeah, and he just goes that way. And I mean, all it is just manipulating the strap to go to that point of view that he wants, that somebody's talking to, down. But I mean, it's writing here, and the reason is like if you're looking at it, if you want engagement and different scenery, if you don't want it to be item, he goes, make it about the interactions, not the items. He goes, if you do that, people want to follow. People want to see the interactions. People want to see the other people. The items will be there. The items are going to be the thing. So like if you make it about the people and the interactions, if you're selling that, easiest way, man, in the car business, I'll tell you, we had a saying, like a Mexican restaurant. I've never ordered fajitas from a Mexican restaurant, but every time they come out, they come out. Yeah. So when you're doing something like that, man, sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Sell the sizzle, yep.
Dang, sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Deep. That is deep, man. That is. This is my 19th podcast that I've done, and I go back. Of course, I
wait, a different name or episode? No.
Same name.
I know.
But I go back and look at that very first one. I think I've come a long way in 19 short episodes.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good. That I know exactly what you're talking about. I go back and watch my old videos, and you got to keep improving. You got to keep improving.
Well, and like changing to this platform and able to put these things, bells and whistles on it, and just change and get better and learn and grow from it, and listen to people like you guys. The content you all put in this show tonight is awesome. And I appreciate you joining me. Now, I'm not going to end it the way I usually do because, on your Instagram, you were talking about, don't start it a certain way and end it a certain way. So what I'm going to do tonight, I'm just going to say, let's talk soon. How about that?
Absolutely.
That's the way I'm going to leave it. Because I believe, guys, that we've got a whole lot more to talk about, to be honest.
I would love it anytime.
So,
for sure.
Let's get back on here again. If you'll join me again here in a couple weeks or so, and whenever you can, and we'll pick it up from here and just keep going.
Sounds good.
After y'all come take some of my stuff, please. Come on, I ain't coming back until y'all carry some stuff away.
Sounds good.
Or the coroner's going to carry me away after my wife gets hold of me.
Well, let's talk soon, guys.
All right.
Sounds good, brother.
Sounds good.
We'll see you.
All right, take care.